Do we do now? Redouble our efforts? Pour ever more billions into the war we've been fighting these past 10 years? Get tougher still? Build more prisons? Before we decide, we need to know one more fact. Today, almost 1.5 million Americans are already serving time in federal, state, and local prisons, mostly for drug offenses. That's 1 American in every 180 behind bars, the second highest imprisonment rate in the world. Only Russia holds a larger proportion of its people in prison. Most of our states now put more new funds into prisons than into educating our children. And because of the war on drugs, some of our children are now getting a very different kind of education.
Here we go.
The outing starts Saturday morning as the children clamber into the van in Queens, New York.
Just sit anywhere. No.
The van crosses the bridge to Manhattan. The children doze along the leafy roads of prosperous Westchester County until they reach a place with the pleasant name of Bedford Hills. Bedford Hills is New York State's maximum security prison for women. Sister Elaine and Sister Tisa have brought the children to visit their mothers.
We have 2 in the back, sister.
Well, oh, I forgot about them. I almost left you here. You get an award. You were
get
wonderful.
a big award. Now put your name there.
Half the women imprisoned at Bedford Hills have committed violent crimes, up to and including murder. Many of the rest are serving sentences of 15 years to life for possession or sale of drugs. 15 years without parole suggests that this prison must hold some major drug kingpins. Well, meet the kingpins.
People think that if somebody had 15 years to life, then they must be big, terrible criminals. And that isn't true. We find these little people, and we get them caught up in a system that just puts them away for half of their life.
Elaine Lord is superintendent of Bedford Hills. She has a national reputation as a tough, humane prison warden.
They're not a danger, I don't think, to society as a whole. They've messed up. Most of them would say that. But I don't think they're dangerous.
Under Governor Nelson Rockefeller, New York State pioneered draconian drug laws. Getting caught with or even close to a few ounces of cocaine or heroin meant you could serve a minimum 15 years, even if you had no record of violence, even if you had children. With the war on drugs, women have become the fastest growing part of our prison population. So I visited Bedford Hills to find out what kind of women were in here and what their long imprisonment was costing them and their children and us. Judy Perez's 12-year-old daughter, Delilah, was one of the children who rode up in the van that morning.
Growing up in a foster care home, you know, they're like, oh God, why can't I be with mommy? And it's been hard for her. You know, I've been talking to her throughout the years and telling her that, you know, we have to keep strong and, you know, maybe next year would be a better year. So she feels, you know, like, when is this going to be all over with? When are we going to live together?
Judy Perez, an admitted heroin user, told us she is here because she and a boyfriend were visiting an apartment when police broke in and found just under 5 ounces of heroin. Today, Judy is lucky Delilah came. Jan Warren's daughter did not.
I was 35 years old when I came here, and I'll be 50 when I leave. My daughter was 15 when I came in, and she went to her father to live, which was on the other side of the country. As a result, we haven't been able to visit very often at all, maybe 5 times in the 8 years I've been here. It caused her to grow up, I think, hating what happened to me, but hurting so much that she's made some bad decisions in her life. Getting very close to, you know, following in Mom's footsteps as far as ending up behind bars.
Jan Warren says she's here because she thought it would be good to make $2,000 transporting cocaine to her cousin in Rochester. It was not. Bedford Hills, under Elaine Lord, is considered an enlightened institution. Women undergo drug treatment. They can and do earn high school and even college degrees. And then they wait down the irreducible years.
I feel that I could be out, have a job, you know, and establish my life. because I have my bachelor's, I have a certificate in gerontology, and I'm just sitting here.
Loretta Evans says she was standing on a Harlem street corner with her daughter and the family she babysat for when police staged an outdoor drug sweep. She had no drugs on her, but the other family did. Prison costs vary in America. They range from about $20,000 to $50,000 per prisoner per year. At Bedford Hills, the cost is $30,000 a year. Here's the arithmetic.
I've been here 9 years.
Out of a sentence of?
15 years to life.
9 years at $30,000 per year equals $270,000.
I'm not eligible for parole till the year 2001.
6 more years at $30,000 comes to $180,000. Judy Perez's minimum cost to the taxpayers of New York State, if she gets paroled as soon as she becomes eligible, $450,000.
I served 7 years and 8 months of a 15 to life sentence.
Jan Warren has cost taxpayers about $225,000 to date, with another $225,000 to go.
I'm here 11 years out of a 15-year sentence.
The cost to date for Loretta Evans, $330,000, with a minimum still to pay of $120,000. The total cost to New York State taxpayers of keeping Judy Perez, Jan Warren, and Loretta Evans here for their minimum mandatory sentences, 3 times $450,000, $1,350,000, plus another cost that must be measured in generations, children who may follow in the footsteps of their imprisoned mothers.
Because what they feel is that society has taken away their mother, and sometimes for the entire time that they're growing up, and they don't understand that. They don't understand how we could see their mother as being so terrible that she can't walk the street for 15 years.
After the Rockefeller mandatory drug sentences took effect in New York State, the United States Congress got tough on drugs with its own mandatory minimums. In a moment, a tale of 2 criminals, a brutal rapist and an 18-year-old girl who answered a phone.